Said one who upward turned his eye, by Palmer Cox, 1840 to 1923. Said one who upward turned his eye to scan the trunks from earth to sky, these trees no doubt well rooted grew when ancient Nineveh was new. And down the vale long shadows cast when Moses out of Egypt passed, and o'er the heads of Pharaoh's slaves and soldiers rolled the Red Sea waves. How must the timid rabbit shake, the fox within his burrow quake, the deer start up with quivering hide to gaze in terror every side. The quail forsake the trembling spray when these old roots at last give way, and to the earth the monarch drops to jar the distant mountain tops. Okay, this is a poem by Palmer Cox. Palmer Cox was a Canadian. He came from Quebec. But he moved to California and spent time working on the railroad as a railroad contractor. And then after that, he went to New York, and in New York, he became famous for his stories about the brownies. The brownies are little fairy-like creatures who are mischievous but kind-hearted. Anyway, what's this poem about? Well, this poem is about an enormous tree, and I'm pretty sure he's talking about a sequoia. These sequoias in California and on the west coast of America are quite incredible trees. They're enormous. And this poem is effectively an ode to one of these. And the title says, one who upward turned his eye. So somebody looked up and they thought, wow, what a tree. And this is what they said. Said one who upward turned his eye to scan the trunks from earth to sky. So someone looked up and they looked at these trees and they looked at the trunks from the bottom to the top. These trees no doubt well rooted grew when ancient Nineveh was new. So this person says these trees are incredibly old. I'm sure these trees were growing and happily growing when Nineveh, which is an ancient city in the Bible, was new. And down the vale long shadows cast when Moses out of Egypt passed, and o'er the heads of Pharaoh's slaves and soldiers rolled the Red Sea waves. So these trees were also big, strong trees when Moses took the Israelites out of Egypt. This is a story from the beginning of the Old Testaments. And he's saying that these trees, they cast shadows into the valleys when Moses left Egypt, and they cast a shade on the heads of Pharaoh's slaves. Yeah, and then he's referring to Moses parting the water of the Red Sea, and the Israelites escaping, and the soldiers of Pharaoh being killed. And what he's saying is these trees were already great big mature trees when all of this happened thousands of years ago. This is probably about 4,000 years ago, something like that. Maybe 5. Okay. How must the timid rabbit shake, the fox within his burrow quake? So he's saying that the timid rabbit must tremble, and the fox within his burrow, the burrow is a hole, will shake. and the deer start up with quivering hide, and the deer will start to run with a shaking, with its back shaking, to gaze in terror every side. So he's now saying that all of the animals will be terrified. The rabbit will be trembling. The fox will quake in his burrow. The deer will start running, looking everywhere in terror. The quail forsake the trembling spray. The spray, it talks about the leaves and the little bits at the tips of the edges of a tree. And a quail is a little bird. And the quail will, one quail, two quail, will fly away from that. And this will happen when these old roots at last give way. So when the roots of this tree finally break, when this tree dies, and to the earth the monarch drops. So he's now calling this tree a monarch. And when finally this tree falls to the ground, it will jar, it will push, it will move suddenly the distant mountain tops. So when this tree dies and it falls, it will terrify all of the animals, and it will even shake the distant mountains. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Said one who upward turned his eye, by Palmer Cox.